Today we're making these fun hot chocolate bombs for the newest Scream movie coming to theaters this week. Hi there foodie friends, my name is Carly and welcome back to my channel, Adventures in Yum. We start by melting about a couple cups or so of white vanilla melting wafers in short increments in the microwave until completely melted. If the melts are still a bit thick, you can add a tiny amount of vegetable oil to thin them into a better consistency like this. We then add some melting wafers to each letter mold. Once they're completely full, tap the mold on the counter to release air bubbles because this will result in a better finished product. After it appears that no more air bubbles are rising to the surface, flip the mold upside down and shake the mold to allow the melts to flow either onto parchment paper or back into the melting wafer bowl. Once it seems like most of the excess melts are out of the mold, we use an offset spatula to clean off the excess melts from the top of the mold. We then place the mold in the fridge or freezer for 5 minutes to harden and repeat with the rest of the letters. We then add more melts to each letter mold and repeat the process to create a second layer of melts. I usually use a spoon or food brush to add the second layer, but I decided to try the same method that we used for the first layer this time. We let that chill either at room temperature or in the fridge or freezer for another 5 minutes or so. Once they're completely set, we add our hot chocolate powder. These are actually quite small, so there's only room for about 2 teaspoons or so of hot chocolate powder in each letter. Next, using either a spoon or piping bag, we add a little bit of melted vanilla wafers onto the hot chocolate powder in each well. We want to ensure that the hot chocolate bombs are completely sealed. I also like to sometimes tap the mold a little at this stage to release any air bubbles before we pop these back in the fridge or freezer for at least another 5 minutes. We then carefully separate the sides of the hot chocolate bomb from the mold and then pop them out of the mold. These letters are very fragile, especially ones like S and R that have curves in them. So be very careful because I certainly had a few break on me while I was trying this out. An optional way to reinforce the shells of the letters is to add a third layer of candy melts before the step of adding the hot chocolate powder. Before we finish these Scream hot chocolate bombs, if you're going to be a final girl, then make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified about my latest video. Finally, here's how we put them together. Using a food brush, we add a little bit of our white vanilla melting wafers to our first letter, but only where the second letter will connect with it, like so. We make sure that they're lined up and also stand them up to make sure that they are flat on our work surface. We continue this process with each letter, and then when we get to the letters that only connect at one point, we let the candy melts harden and then also brush a little bit of candy melt on the bottom to help make the connection a little bit stronger. Here's our basic Scream hot chocolate bomb, but you can also add some edible blood splatter by mixing some extract, here I'm using strawberry, with some red food gel and then using a food brush to add an edible blood splatter. Another fun idea for these Scream logo hot chocolate bombs is to use black candy melts and add little ghost faces on the front of the letters at the very beginning of the process. We then use a food brush to add black candy melts up the sides of the letters as well. We let that harden and then carefully add white vanilla melting wafers to the ghost faces and then brush the candy melts up the sides of the letters as well. After letting that set, we can either add another layer of candy melts for extra reinforcement or fill it with hot chocolate powder and seal them with candy melts just like we did with our first set. We then follow the same steps as the first Scream hot chocolate bombs, and here is our complete Ghost Faces Scream hot chocolate bomb. Stay tuned for my Thirsty Thursday Shorts video this week where I'll show you how to enjoy these fun Scream hot chocolate bombs. Which version of the Scream hot chocolate bomb is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. If you are interested in checking out some of the products I used in this video, then please make sure to check out that video description below for some of their Amazon links. Thank you so much for joining me today, foodie friends. I'll see you next time for another yummy adventure.